In 2015, a forest ranger went to a camp in Pierce Pond Township, Maine. He was investigating reports of someone stealing fuel from that location. While he was on the scene, he also discovered that someone had stolen a propane cooking stove and a cast iron wood stove from a campsite. But apparently the thief didn't realize that these camps have what's known as game cameras. These devices, which are also referred to as trail cameras, are mainly used for hunting, conservation, and nature photography. The cameras were able to catch the burglar in the act. Using this photo evidence, Somerset County Sheriff's deputies were even able to make a positive identification. This enabled detectives to obtain a search warrant for the suspect. During their search, they managed to recover both stoves. However, police were still not able to locate the suspect at his home. Somerset County then used Facebook to ask the public for tips. Meanwhile, the suspect managed to elude police for almost 2 months. That is, until he foolishly posted on Snapchat that he was in Fairfield, Maine. People viewing the post wasted no time in contacting Somerset County Police. The Somerset County Sheriff then reached out to Fairfield Police for assistance. As tips continued to pour in, they eventually led police to a home in Fairfield. Police were greeted by a 20-year-old female at the residence. She repeatedly told them that that suspect wasn't home and that she hadn't seen him for weeks. She even allowed officers to search the home after they told her they had information he was there. Officers searched the home, but were unable to find the suspect. But just when they thought they had reached a dead end, the man they were searching for did something really stupid. He posted on Snapchat that the police were currently in the house searching for him, but hadn't found him because he was hiding in a kitchen cabinet. Remember, the reason the cops were there is because he gave away his location on Snapchat. So it's no surprise that after this last post, tips began flooding in again. Officers then looked inside the cabinet where they found the usual pots, pans, and food items. But they also noticed something else, a pair of feet. Police then posted on their Facebook page. The pair of feet just so happened to be attached to a person, and that person was Christopher Wallace. He was removed from the cabinet and placed under arrest. All of that brings me to the moral of the story. Always remain humble. The 24-year-old Wallace was charged with burglary, theft, and violation of conditions of release and was taken into custody. The 20-year-old female woman was also taken into custody. The Somerset County Sheriff's Facebook page gave this explanation for her arrest. She was arrested for hindering apprehension because, well, let's put it this way, when the police ask you multiple times if someone is in the house, and you answer repeatedly that they are not in the house, and that you have not seen said person in weeks, you're just going to get arrested. Police went on to say that Facebook has proven to be an excellent tool in communicating with the public. In addition, it has allowed public participation in some of these harder-to-solve cases. And we might add that it has given this channel plenty of crazy stories to cover. In 2008, a Chicago man walked into a Fifth Third Bank and handed a teller a note that read, "Be quick. Give your cash or I'll shoot." The teller gave the man about $400 and he fled the scene. The bank robber was later described as a man in his late 30s with brown eyes and no front teeth. But that's not the only thing they had on him. As the man ran away, he left behind the demand note. Police said that it was written on a torn half of a pay stub. Notice that they described it as a torn half. That's because the bank robber tore off the part that had his identifying information. Sounds like he was playing it smart. Well, not exactly. As officers searched the crime scene for evidence, they found exactly what they needed. The suspect had dropped the other half of his pay stub just outside the bank. Police were then able to get his name and address. They also saw that his employer was Jewel Food Stores and he had been paid $165.99. That's an awful lot of information for a bank robber to leave behind. Might as well just stick around and wait for the cops to show up at the bank. Well, it gets even better. Investigators learned that the suspect may have been living at a home less than 2 blocks from the bank. They then went to the address and interviewed a man identified as his brother. The brother told officers that the suspect had been there earlier and had left a brown jacket behind. Police confirmed that it was the same one seen in a security videotape of the robbery. His brother was then shown a photograph taken from the bank security video. He was able to confirm that the robber was indeed his brother. Police eventually located and arrested the 40-year-old suspect, who then confessed to the crime. An FBI spokesman had this to say about the incident: "It's fairly unusual that we see something that's specifically stupid. But overall, we see a lot of strange bank robberies." We would certainly have to agree with him. But it's also interesting to note that this guy had a job, but was still out robbing banks. Apparently he didn't think he was making enough money. But clearly he would have been better off looking for a second job. In 2008, a Florida man broke into the Junkanoo bar on Fort Myers Beach. Like many businesses, the bar had installed a security system that was being monitored by ADT. Thus, once he entered the bar, the alarm went off. This prompted a call from the security company. The purpose of the call is to confirm whether there was an actual burglary or a false alarm. For example, an employee may have accidentally triggered the security system. Once the person tells the ADT operator the correct code, there is no need to send police. Of course, you would assume that anyone who answers the phone when the alarm goes off is authorized to be at that location. After all, a burglar would never pick up the phone, would they? Well, apparently this guy forgot he was a burglar. Because he not only answered the phone, he went one better. When they asked for his name, the man gave the security company his real name. However, he was unable to provide them with the most important piece of information: the security code. Thus, ADT sent deputies from the Lee County Sheriff's Office to the scene. But by the time they arrived, the man was gone. When the bar owner came to work later that morning, she reviewed the video surveillance tape. That's when she saw a man enter the business through a rear sliding glass door. And he wasn't wearing a mask. She also noticed that he walked around the bar, grabbed a bottle of alcohol, and then left the business. She then did an inventory of the alcohol behind the bar. That's when she noticed that a bottle of Grand Marnier, which is an orange-flavored liqueur, was missing. So now we have a burglar who broke into the bar and was seen on video without a mask. He even gave the security company his real name. Yet he still managed to get away with a bottle of liqueur. Instead of sitting at home and enjoying his free bottle of booze, guess what this idiot did next? The very next day, he actually went back to the same bar he had previously burglarized the night before. This makes absolutely no sense. And this was just hours after employees at the bar had viewed the security footage where the suspect's face was fully visible. Well, one of the workers immediately recognized him and they notified police. Since he gave the person on the phone his real name, deputies were able to confirm his identity and he was arrested. Detective Tim Lalore, with the Lee County Sheriff's Office, was quoted as saying, "He admitted to answering the phone and told us how nice and professional the lady from the security service was as he gave his correct name. This is definitely up there for one of the dumbest things we've seen." It was also revealed that he committed the burglary on the night of his birthday. Well, his birthday gift was a charge of unarmed burglary of a structure without persons inside. They also added petty larceny for the stolen bottle of booze.